System is set up to beat us down, to beat us down, to beat us down. Even the time change, just so you know, you guys, the whole time change, the whole time, the 1 hour time shift, that's actually to throw us off our game and weaken our immune systems and destabilize us. That's what that is. I'm going to talk about that one day. The time change is not supposed to happen. They're not supposed to do the time change. That's not any natural occurrence. That's control. That's because that's all about controlling the human race and weakening them. Because the time change stresses people out, gets them sick. That's what it does. That's what they do. That's the whole point. It's actually to knock people down. They try to knock you down wherever they can. That's how it's done out there. And knock you down wherever. You guys see it, right? You guys see it? This is knock you. You guys on Telegram? You guys on TikTok? Good to see you guys on TikTok. They try to knock you down wherever they can. Okay? That's how it's done. And the time change is just one way they try to knock you down. That's just one way. It's rigged. It's rigged to foul up the human race. There's no reason for time change. There's no. You think the Native Americans? You think the Native Americans? Think the indigenous cultures? You think they were like, hey everybody, we got to change the time on everybody. we got to set our clocks, even though they didn't have a clock. They watched the sunset, the sunrise. We got to set our clocks 1 hour ahead, 1 hour behind. Think the Native Americans 500 years ago were like, hey everybody in the tribes, we got to set our clocks back. Hey, let's set the sun back. Oh, the sun's setting. Set it back an hour. You think the Native Americans were like, hey, set that clock back, right? Like, you think they did that? You think a bear in the woods is like, we got to set that. You think the bears all get together? Do you think the deer all get together in the woods and say, you guys, we got to set our clock back. Go back an hour or go back an hour forward. Do you think all the squirrels and all the woodchucks and all the raccoons and all the beavers, you think we got to set our clocks back? You think indigenous cultures thousands of years ago were like, you got to set our clock, you guys, we got to set our clocks back? I mean, how insane is that? How insane is that? But you know why they do it? They do it for one reason only, to make your life a little bit harder. To trip you up. It's 1,000 knives. Death by 1,000 knives. Here's one more cut. We're going to set the time. We're going to set the time change. Make the time change happen. Right? Miriam, it's not so kids aren't outside in the dark for the school bus. It's not. It's not why to set the time change. That's not why it's set. They don't care. The industries that set the time change that do it, they don't care about that. They don't care about that. Okay? The people that set the time change, okay, their kids aren't waiting in the dark somewhere for a bus. The powers that be in the upper echelon, the illumination who creates the time change, their kids aren't waiting in the dark at a bus stop on some street. Just so you know. The illumination who changes the time change doesn't care about anybody's kids.